Hello children, Shubha teacher here, and I am back to you with the first video of a new topic in biology. In the previous 5 videos, you had learnt about chapter cell. Here is a flowchart which shows the levels of organization in an organism. Let's quickly go through it. Cell, the unit of life. Many cells make up a tissue. Tissues make up an organ. Organs work in coordination to form an organ system. And many organ systems make up an organism. So after cell, we need to proceed to the next topic, that is tissue. Tissue is defined as a group of similar cells which perform a specific function. The red words here are the key words of the definition. Similar cells. Tissue is made up of many cells which are of same kind, and specific function means they all carry out a particular function. In this chapter, you will be studying about plant and animal tissue, but I will be discussing only about plant tissue in this video. This flowchart shows the complete classification of plant tissue. Plant tissue is divided into meristematic and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is of two types, apical meristem and lateral meristem. Permanent tissue is divided into 3 types, protective tissue, supporting tissue and conducting tissue. Supporting tissue is again divided into 3 types, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Conducting tissue is of 2 types, xylem and phloem. Here we will be discussing about the characteristics of each tissue along with their location and function. We start with the meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is characterized by its capacity of actively dividing. They keep dividing and go on adding new cells to the plant. Therefore, they don't grow much in size and these cells are small. They have thin cell wall, large nuclei, vacuoles are absent in them and they do not have intercellular space. The location of meristematic tissue is they are found at the tip and lateral side of root and stem. Because of their location, they get their names. They are of 2 types, apical meristem and lateral meristem. Apical meristem, apex, they are present at the shoot apex as well as at the root apex. When they divide in these 2 portions, they increase the height of the plant. Lateral meristem is present on the lateral sides of the stem, and when they divide, the thickness of stem increase. So thus, meristematic tissue increase the height and the width of plants. The next type of plant tissue is permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is derived from meristematic tissue cells. When meristematic tissue cells lose their capacity to divide, they turn into permanent tissues. So this tissue consists of non-dividing cells. They carry permanent functions. They may be living or dead. Permanent tissue is of 3 types. The first type is protective tissue. The term itself says that they give protection to the plant parts. So therefore these cells have thick walls. They are found on the surface of root, stem and leaves. Example of protective tissue is epidermis in leaves. This transverse section of leaf figure shows epidermis here. This is the upper epidermis and here is the lower epidermis. A brown colored layer which is outside the epidermis is cuticle. Cuticle is a waxy waterproof material which makes an outer coating in leaves, and it is because of cuticle that when water falls on leaves, water droplets trickle down and leaves never get wet. We move to the next type of permanent tissue, that is supporting tissue. Supporting tissue gives support to the various plant parts. It is of 3 types. The first type is parenchyma. These are characterized by large, thin-walled cells. They are oval, circular, polygonal. They have single large vacuole. They are present in the soft parts of the plants. Their function is to store food in plants. They also provide temporary support. Sometimes when parenchyma cells contain chlorophyll, they are termed as chlorenchyma, and they then perform photosynthesis process. We go to the next type of supporting tissue, that is collenchyma. Collenchyma is characterized by elongated cells with cell wall thickened at corners. Here you see a figure of collenchyma tissue. Now this is a transverse section, therefore it is not seen elongated, but these cells are having red colored, the corners which are shown thickened, these are shown in red for you to understand. These are living cells. You can see nucleus present here in these cells. Now these thickened corners are because of the deposition of a carbohydrate substance called as pectin. Along with cellulose in cell wall, pectin deposition makes them thicker at the corners, and therefore they are tougher than parenchyma cells, and they give support to the plant parts wherever they are located. They are located in the leaf stalks and below the epidermis of stems. The next type of supporting tissue is sclerenchyma. These are characterized by long, narrow cells. They are dead cells. We don't see here any cell having nucleus. So that shows that these are dead cells. And these have more thickened cell walls. And you can see here in these figures, it is because of an extra deposition of another carbohydrate substance called as lignin. So these have thick lignified cell walls which make them most tough compared to all the other two supporting tissues. And therefore they provide strength to the plant parts. They are located in stem and veins of leaves. We proceed to the third type of permanent tissue, that is conducting, it is also called as vascular tissue. It is a complex tissue because it is made up of different kinds of cells. Now here I need to tell you, the previous tissue which we discussed just now, they are all simple kind because they are made up of only one kind of cell. Conducting tissue is of two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem consists of four kinds of cells: tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Tracheids are elongated cells. They give mechanical support to the plant parts. Xylem vessels, they are tube-like and they are like hollow tubes with open ends. Therefore, they help in water transport. Xylem parenchyma are living cells and they store food. Xylem fibers are also tough, made up of sclerenchymatous cells, and they also give mechanical support to the plant parts. The function of xylem is they help in upward movement of water and dissolved minerals which are absorbed by the roots. We proceed to the next conducting tissue, that is phloem. Phloem also consists of four kinds of cells. This figure is showing the phloem tissue with all its four cells. Let's go through it. These are long elongated sieve tubes. These tubes are one above the other placed, and they have the ends of each tube have got a sieve plate which are perforated. Perforated means they have got many openings which makes them all continuous as one tube, and they help in transport of food. Companion cells are another kind of cell of phloem tissue which are associated with sieve tubes, and they give support to the sieve tubes in food transport. Phloem parenchyma, like xylem parenchyma, they also help in food storage. And phloem fibers, like xylem fibers, they give mechanical support to the plant parts. Function of phloem tissue is to transport food. Now we know that food is prepared by leaves in plants, but the entire plant needs food, so that food is translocated through phloem tissue to all the parts of the plant. Now we need to go through two more terms, xylem rings and vascular bundles. This is a cross section of a stem in which you see many ring-like structures. These are xylem rings. These rings are formed by old xylem tissue, and every year one xylem ring is formed. Therefore, these rings are also called as annual rings. It is these rings which are counted to find out the age of a tree. This figure is showing vascular bundles. Now these all oval shaped structures which you see all around, these are vascular bundles. This is how they are arranged in plants, and each bundle consists of xylem on its inner side and phloem on its outer side. So thus, combination of xylem and phloem together form vascular bundle. With this, we complete today's video. Let's go through the learning outcomes. In this video, you learnt about tissue, a group of similar cells which perform specific function. You also learnt about plant tissues, which are of two types, meristematic and permanent. Meristematic tissues consist of dividing cells. Permanent tissue consists of non-dividing cells and they carry permanent functions. You learnt about various types of plant tissues with their characteristics, locations and functions. You also came to know about the difference between simple and complex tissues. Xylem rings, which are also called as annual rings, and they determine the age of a tree. You learnt about vascular bundle, which is formed by xylem and phloem. To become thorough with today's video, you need to go through it few number of times, read the lesson and draw this table with 3 columns naming the plant tissues here and location, function. Draw the diagrams of supporting and conducting tissue in the notebook. With this, you will become thorough with today's portion. And with this, we complete plant tissue portion of the chapter. I will be meeting you soon in the next video on Wednesday, where I will be talking to you about animal tissue. Thank you, children.